You know, it's always going to be a fun day when you're having the conversation based around Bob Iger or Disney for that matter. You know, anytime we're talking about Disney, anytime we're talking about Bob Iger, anytime we're talking about any of these people, it's always a great time. Now, the funny thing is, Bob Iger recently came out in a report, in an interview, and tried to go against the grain when it comes to talking about culture wars. He's essentially saying that he wants to take Disney away from the culture war. It says, report from Bounding Into Comics, the Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger wants to quiet the noise regarding culture war issues because they are not healthy for Disney's business. Well, I gotta put it to you pretty plainly, Bob Iger. If you didn't want to be involved in the culture war, if you wanted not that much noise regarding the culture war in Disney, perhaps you should not have joined the culture wars. Perhaps you should not have created the culture wars. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to think about it. They were probably one of the founding companies that started this whole nonsense. You probably shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? You probably should have did your original idea and stayed politically neutral. You probably should have kept your nose out of it. But the problem is, you want kids so bad that you're willing to double down, triple down, quadruple down, do everything you have to do to get your ESG scores up, get your money up and all that stuff. You'll do anything to keep that virtue signal going. And then in the same breath, you want to be gone from the culture war? You want to quiet the noise regarding culture wars? Yeah, right. Let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, just consider hitting that subscribe button, man. I'm shadow banned as hell. And like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. So it says a new report claims that the Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger wants to quiet the noise surrounding culture war issues because he does not see them as healthy for the company's business. Well, if that's the case, why the fuck did you join the culture wars, man? Why are you still, to this day, continuing to virtue signal to the culture wars? Why do you constantly do this nonsense with your movies and TV shows and everything and then want to say that you don't want to be in the culture war? That makes no sense. Needham financial analyst Laura Martin recently attended a 120-person investor event at Walt Disney World and reported on September 20th that during this event, Bob Iger explicitly stated he wanted to quiet the noise on culture war issues. In Martin's report, which she provided to Bounding Into Comics, she explained that Iger believes content should be entertaining, not issues focused. What? Then where are you, Bob? Where are you? Where are you with all the stuff that your company is making? Are you kidding me? How do you want this to be focusing on entertainment and non-issue focus when everything you create has some sort of agenda infused into it? Where are you in the process of these movies and TV shows being made? Where are you? That makes no sense. Furthermore, she detailed that Iger's key goal is to quiet the noise because culture wars are not healthy for Disney's business. This report echoes comments Iger made to CNBC David Faber back in July. Faber asked the executive, "What about DeSantis, who's going to be on the hustings, so to speak, for the next year, and he's made this part of his campaign, attacking Disney, saying it's a woke corporation. We've put the company on a pedestal, but they've really embraced the idea of getting the sexualized content in the program line that I'm not willing to cross." I mean, that's what he said. I quoted DeSantis there. How do you respond to that? And then Iger replied, "Well, so far, we've said publicly is that we are concerned that he has decided to retaliate against the company for a position the company took on pending legislation in this state." It wasn't pending at the time. It had passed. That's when Disney decided to take a stand. Otherwise, when it was pending, they stayed politically neutral. That's the whole reason why Chapek got destroyed in the first place. And frankly, the company was within its right, even though I'm not sure it was handled very well. It was within its right to speak up on an issue constitutionally protected right of free speech, and to retaliate against the company in a way that would be harmful to the business was not something that we could sit back and tolerate. And so we have filed a lawsuit to protect our First Amendment rights there and to protect our business, frankly. He then added the other issues that you referred. The last thing I want for the company is for the company to be drawn into any culture wars. You know, we've operated for almost 100 years as a company making product that we actually are proud of in terms of its impact on the world. I joke every once in a while we're there to manufacture fun. Iger will later add, "I don't really want to engage in the specifics except to say that it's not our goal to be involved in a culture war. Our goal is to continue to tell wonderful stories and have a positive impact on the world. You know, we are a preeminent entertainer in the world, and we're proud of our track record. The notion that Disney is in any way sexualizing children, quite frankly, is preposterous and inaccurate." Well, if it's inaccurate, then I guess we all have bridges to sell. It's very obvious, ladies and gentlemen, this is all PR speak, okay? This is Bob Iger trying to look at the way this guy is smiling in the background. This is creepy as hell. I just noticed it in this picture. That's weird. Anyway, so it's very clear that Bob Iger's doing PR speak, okay? He's trying to downplay the effects of what Disney actually has in their TV shows and whatnot. They have come out and said, a lot of the people, actually one lady came out and said they have a not so secret gay agenda, okay? That's number one. Right there, gay sexual orientation, right off the bat. So you are trying to sexualize kids. Immediately, you failed right in that regard. But if you want to ignore that, you also have the fact that they are coming out and literally doing this in everything they do. It is very clear, it's very obvious. You have the writers, you have the actors, you have the producers, you have the directors, every single one of them in interviews talking about the fact that they have an agenda this, a narrative this. Like they all have these ideas in their mind to try to self-insert themselves, or at the very least, put themselves in a position where they're talking about issues, right? Like he said, issues. They put their issues in their movies because it's important to them. It's numero uno for them. That's what's really important for them. They want to talk about LGBTQ stuff. They want to talk about sexualization of children. They want to talk about all this stuff that nobody cares to hear or talk about when they're watching a TV show or a movie. And this is the disconnect between Hollywood and the people who pay them money to go see their movies and whatnot. It's a big time disconnect. It says it's interesting to note that in his comments to CNBC, he made it explicit that he did not want to be involved in a culture war, but in Martin's report, it merely about quieting the noise. Looking at Martin's report cynically, it's not hard to see that Iger wants to continue being involved in the culture war issues and actively pushing them through the company's content, its employee trainings, its sports coverage, and more. However, he does not want the company's role in the culture war to be so prominent. He wants it to be suppressed and quiet. Well, that's because they want to do it behind the scenes. That's the thing. They want to be able to do it without any backlash. That's really what it is. It's not that they want to stop. They never want to stop. They will never stop, okay? It's the fact that they want to be able to do this with zero backlash. They want to be able to do this without getting destroyed online for it. They want to be able to do this, sexualize kids, talk about LGBTQ stuff, whatever the case may be. They want to do this without anybody saying anything. So they're trying to get everybody to the point where it's deemed acceptable for them to do it, and they're trying to make it normalized. That's their whole point. That's their goal. Through the employee trainings, through the movies, the content they produce, they're trying to normalize this any way they can so that as it keeps happening, the impact and the backlash that they receive for it is less and less and less over time. It says if you look at Martin's report more charitably, it would seem Iger does indeed want to remove the company from the culture wars that he embroiled in. However, his words have not so far been followed by any actions. In fact, at the end of August, the company hired President Joe Biden's former National Traveling Press Secretary, Remy Yamato, to be the company's vice president of media relations for its television division. Variety reported that one of her main duties would be to oversee crisis communications and issues-oriented messaging. On the Disney Plus front, the company is still pushing the culture war agenda with their upcoming Percy Jackson and the Olympian series on Disney Plus. The series creator Rick Riordan recently defended his and the company's decision to replace a number of characters by claiming it was that so everyone could look at the series and see themselves. That famous line, everybody needs to see themselves, and that's because, quite frankly, you have narcissists making movies for other narcissists. That's basically what it is. So they're coming out and trying to say that it's important for everybody to see themselves. How are people going to connect with the movie if they can't see themselves? It is so ridiculous, and it makes everything about race that it makes it boring, really. Like, it makes it so boring and so just utterly mind-numbing. Like, I don't know how else to explain it other than mind-numbing. Like, the fact that people really can't see past their race for anything is really sad, that there's people out there that live in that constant state in their mind, and it goes to show just how bad things have gotten overall in these quote-unquote culture wars. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.